What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. This time I will talk about VirtualBox. This is a product from Oracle, and I will talk like what I think is a base knowledge everyone should know about while using VirtualBox. And in these examples, I will work with Zabbix appliance to show few tricks which I think is the best buttons, and without too much talking, it is like one is related with the networking, one functionality like how to do the port forwarding, and the other one is like the power of the snapshot. If I knew this, if I knew the snapshot button exists like years ago, that would really save a lot of time, and now I know, and that's the reason why I'm highlighting this inside this video. And my examples will be demonstrated with the Zabbix appliance 7.0 and the previous LTS version 6.0. I have already downloaded. My choice to use is open virtualization format, this OVF. I did unpack the archive, and let's start with this 7.0.7. Double click, like the Oracle product is already installed. This can be installed on the Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and I will now import this thing. And the first tip is the network settings, like how you can expose Zabbix appliance so it accepts the connection from the outside world. And here we open the settings, visit the network connectivity, and there is already selected NAT. What I need to do is open this advanced port forwarding, and now like add certain rules, like for the SSH. And this first field represents which port I will use on my workstation. And since my workstation is Linux, maybe the 22 port is already exposed. That's a bad idea to use this. And also I want to kind of involve the number of version. Like we can use VirtualBox to launch different Zabbix versions, 6.7.0, 6.0, 7.2. And I like to include that version over here, like 22 is the SSH port, and 6.0 means like 6.0 LTS. That's like my naming style. And here we are mapping to the port 22, and the same must be applied for the web port 80. So I will use again like the version as indicator, and 80 over here. And if we think about using Trapper port, like the second and third digit is free, and I will use the version number over here. The Trapper port out from the box is like 10051. Here is a mistake, like I'm importing the 7 version right now, so 7.0 will be there. This is my style. I think I find this very useful. Like you can kind of run 4 or more appliances in parallel and nothing bad will happen. Okay, let's do this and start. This will really take 3 minutes to really boot up from the cold. And while it's booting up, I will do the same for the other appliance. Going back here, 6.0 LTS, importing, click. And replicating the same for the 6.0 network, advanced, and here port 22. 6.0 is the version I'm doing, 22 is the real port. The web access for the 6.0, web access listens on the port 80, and Trapper port will be like 51 and 10051. Okay. It's interesting to check these exposed ports from the SSH in my workstation. I'm using Linux workstation, and we can use like command ss tcp listen and numeric process and grep for I VirtualBox, enter. And we can see like currently it is nothing outside, like the version 7.0, the Trapper port. the port 80 and the SSH port. Did I boot up the... I did not boot up 6.0. Let's start to boot up. So they will appear in a moment, but right now I already see like 3 ports are exposed, and I can start to SSH into the one of them. SSH like root at, and actually I should check the IP address of my computer, and it is like this. This is useful if you have some other appliances in the home network and you want to really map them directly to your Zabbix, which runs inside the VirtualBox. Then it's handy to use this IP address already. So SSH root at this IP address, and my port number is a little bit custom, 2270. Click enter, and it accepts already the SSH, and the password is Zabbix for the root user, and now I'm inside. Here, since I will talk about snapshot as well, it would be nice to prepare the appliance for the future use, and like the time zone most likely is not correct right now. I don't have like this time right now, and that would be the first thing we do. Time date ctl set time zone, and then Europe, and my time zone is Riga. And if I check the date again, like it's a different time right now. So this would be the command I would need to use for every appliance. And now I will turn it off, power off this appliance, which is already booting up. Actually, I should check if it is healthy enough. Did the database was created? To do so, I'm visiting like this port 80, and what we can do is like either we use 127.0.0.1 8070, enter. So that's one way how to approach. Or my address was like 54 and or what was it, 56, yes, and 56 and the port 70. So it's the same way I can access using this, and we can bookmark this thing, or I can use full IP address. Probably the full IP address is a clever approach. So it's printing out this access, and that's great. I can like shut down. This appliance is prepared for later use. And let's check again like how many ports are listening in the VirtualBox. And since I did shut down one, now the 6.0 version is only in the listening state. Let's visit here to jump if the 6.0 version is listening, enter, and it is like the front end is live. I want to set up the time zone here as well. Click. Sorry, I need to SSH at first, and I'm SSHing on the port 2260, enter. Some magical thing going on here since I tested, and SSHing again, yes, and Zabbix is the password, and I want to set the time zone here as well in the 6.0 appliance. Click timeztl set time zone Europe Riga, and yeah, it is there. And power off. So I'm shutting down the other appliance as well. And now here you see powered off, running. And now let's talk about the power of snapshot. I like this. I love this a lot. Like so, it's currently it's in a very solid state. We did configure the port forwarding, the NAT rules for both of the versions. And now I take the snapshot over here and take the snapshot for the other one, and what it allows us, like we can turn it on anytime, like we can turn it on, and we do not need to think about corrupting the disk. You can turn it off like any moment. Here, restore to the snapshot, like power off, and click this checkbox, and no matter like in what moment you turn it off, it becomes healthy. It goes back to this state. And now I will boot up for real, which will be like the state after creating Zabbix database, after respecting your time zone. And let's boot it up. Maybe let's boot the other one as well in parallel. And now I will show, like, of course we want to compare this VirtualBox with the Docker containers. Like, what's the point of using VirtualBox? It's my point is sometimes it's less work. When we think about speed, like you can launch Zabbix via Docker in like 5 minutes or in 3 minutes. But how much work you involve? Like maybe you involve like 50 seconds of hard work to launch the Docker containers. And I think with this one, VirtualBox, it's still like a choice, an option, because with the VirtualBox, you maybe I think it's less work. Like you make 30 seconds of hard work, and you will need to wait more. But I'm talking about like how much you how much the work is involved. Okay. Going back here, I want to highlight like the ports which are listening now. Like since both appliances are running, we see like the Trapper port over here, and one use case like why this is useful. We can SSH to one of the appliances, and like currently it is running Zabbix server v like 707. Like how easy it is jump back, and my answer is like it's very easy to shift back one version, or since this is like a Red Hat system, I think Alma Linux or Rocky Linux, it's very easy, like DNF downgrade, and I'm just writing at first like RPM check the install like packages Zabbix, and then DNF downgrade, and we can like write Zabbix server this -700, and also if I care to downgrade the front end, like I will select the base package of the front end, which will bring along some dependencies. So this is how easy it is to downgrade. You just write the command, click, and now when it's like fetching all the repositories, I will shift here to the live instance 7, enter, and going into the front end Zabbix, and if we scroll down, it's 707, and a few seconds later the command will end. It's ended. If I refresh the page, click, now it's 700. So it's super fast, and if you want to jump to something very specific, you just write upgrade, and like I want to test out how Zabbix version 703 performs, and this is the complexity, just downgrade. And this is not possible on Ubuntu, on Debian. I don't know, like maybe the possible is not the right word, but it's so much harder to do these version upgrades. You can jump back 2 or 3, but not to every version you can like you desire to jump. But with the Red Hat system, it works brilliantly. So now I did jump 703, check again, click, and everything is on 703. Okay, one last example I want to show, like I can use the local agent on this workstation. I'm using the MX Linux, and the local agent, like I can point the agent to both appliances if I care to do so. Server active, and here my address was my Zabbix address was 56. So 56, and port is 17051. This is like port for 70 appliance. And then like I want to map the agent, like I want to map all active checks to both versions, 7.0 and 6.0. So this is the complexity. You just edit one field, and to be transparent with you, like what is the full configuration, you can pause the video to read like all the settings. The important ones is like I'm using host metadata here, which is kind of highlighting what kind of Linux distribution I'm running. and what is the host name right now. Like the host name is zbox, and then this field like server active where I point to both Zabbix servers. And in this example, passive checks are not relevant. Like it does not matter with what is this IP address. So right now I will set up like an auto registration rule here in the 7.0 instance. Alerts, actions, auto registration action, create action, Linux, add if the metadata contains Linux with the capital L, end, and what to do. I want to remove from Disco, and I want to add to the Linux servers, and I want to add the template Linux by za, and like active template, and that's it. Like this is how to professionally onboard Linux without manual work. I made the rule, and let's check. Like this is a fresh appliance, only one server is there. If I restart my agent here, restart Zabbix agent, click, and let's check if it is even functional. Zabbix agent dlog, and I'm seeing like the identity is this, and it is going to 6.0 server to the 7.0 server, and I think it if I click apply, yes, so this did onboard automatically. If I would create the same rule in the 6.0 instance, so it's very easy to navigate here. I just replace 7 with the 6, enter. This is admin Zabbix, so this is also running in the appliance 6.0. If I replicate that rule, then also we can onboard the thing. That is everything. So in this lab I did demonstrate like how to use VirtualBox to set up the NAT rules and kind of like prepare the virtual machine as a template for future troubleshooting. We can kind of simulate the upgrade process, practice how to upgrade Zabbix 6.0 to the 7.0, or use Zabbix 5.0 to try to upgrade to 7.0. And like this snapshot functionality comes handy. Like if you think you gone too much, like replace the wrong repository and want to start from scratch, it's super easy. Like just close the running virtual machine and it automatically offers to jump back to that snapshot type of moment with the correct time zone when everything was fresh and great. Okay, that's everything for this video. If you find it helpful, give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.